America's farmers are sounding the alarm. The crops are still growing, the combines are ready for harvest, but the markets, they've dried up. Once loyal customers have turned away, prices have collapsed and entire communities are staring down a financial cliff. I'm John Rivers. Tonight on the Watchdog Report, how U.S. exports have fallen into a crisis, and why trade wars and tariffs have left America's farmers begging for survival. Let's start with corn. The National Corn Growers Association says rural America is in the middle of an economic crisis. Their math is brutal. Corn prices have fallen by more than 50% since 2022, while input costs, seed, fertilizer, fuel, machinery have barely dropped at all. That translates into a loss of 85 cents per bushel. For a farmer running thousands of acres, this isn't just bad news, it's devastation. And the outlook for next year is even worse. Lower prices, higher costs, and no safety net. Soybean growers tell a similar story. The American Soybean Association warned the White House that U.S. farmers are standing on a financial precipice. Why? Because America's biggest customer, China, simply isn't buying. China used to buy nearly half of all U.S. soybean exports. In states like North Carolina, soybeans are a top cash crop, with over 446 million in exports in 2022 alone. But since late May, Beijing has been boycotting American soybeans, turning instead to Brazil, which has massively expanded the production capacity since 2018 trade war. The result? U.S. soybeans now face a 20% higher duty than those from South America, and as harvest season arrives, Chinese buyers have not placed a single order for months ahead. This isn't just about losing sales, it's about losing markets permanently. Once China turned to Brazil, they didn't just fill a gap, they built new supply chains. Brazil cleared more land, ramped up output, and locked in contracts. That advantage won't vanish if tariffs are removed tomorrow. One farmer put it bluntly: "We conserve our farmland, Brazil cleared virgin land and undercut our prices. Now they own the market we used to dominate." The Federal Reserve backs this up with hard data. Their latest farm financial survey shows collapsing incomes, tighter liquidity, and worsening credit conditions. Farmers are borrowing more just to keep the lights on, but repayment rates are shrinking fast. Down 30% in Chicago and Kansas City Federal District, 40% in Minneapolis, and 50% in St. Louis. This isn't just pain in the fields, it's pain in the banks, in the rural main streets, and the farm equipment dealerships. The shockwaves ripple everywhere. And yet we still hear rosy rhetoric. In August, President Trump posted on a Truth Social urging China to quadruple its soybean orders, boasting about our great farmers. But the reality, China hasn't bought a single new shipment. Instead, they signed new contracts with Brazil. At the same time, tariffs have escalated into the stratosphere. U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods jumped 84%, then 145%, while China retaliated with 125% on American exports. Farmers caught in the middle are paying the price. Yes, there's been some relief. Congress passed the One Big Beautiful Act in July, with $66 billion marked for farm safety nets. But let's be honest, these are bailouts. They're not solutions. These are band-aids, slapped on wounds opened by failed trade policy. Farmers don't want government checks. They want markets. They want stability. They want the ability to sell their crops without playing geopolitical games. To be fair, there are new trade deals in Asia. Indonesia, Bangladesh, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Thailand have promised to buy more U.S. crops. But these are smaller markets, and they don't come anywhere close to replacing China. Historically, The United States was the proven provider of choice. But in just a few years, that reputation has crumbled. Now the world sees America as unreliable, caught up in tariff wars and political brinkmanship. Let's take a listen to the farmers themselves.
This is the first time in my life farming that I still have crop in my bins that I can't sell. Basically, what we're getting out of a bushel of corn or a bushel of rice would be like you making $5 an hour and trying to pay your bills at home. Mexico and China are the two biggest rice buyers for the United States. They buy more rice off of us than anyone. And when they stop buying rice, we have nowhere to go with the rice. It won't be a trickle-down effect. It will be like flushing a toilet if the ag industry collapses.
Farmers in crisis align way out the door of the Woods Chapel Baptist Church in Brooklyn as hundreds of farmers from not only Northeast Arkansas, but from across the state came to voice their concerns about the current state of farming.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
For King, the main problem starts with the fact that they can't sell for profit.
I just would like to see somebody help us get our markets back. We need our exports, and we just need to be paid for what we do.
I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm. When you try to sell a product, okay, U.S. soybeans leaving New Orleans without the tariff to China are cheaper than Brazilian soybeans at the current market. But when you put the tariff on top of them, Brazilian beans are cheaper.
So how can this be fixed?
In the short term, they have no choice but to mail us a check. I don't know a farmer that likes the check program. Nobody wants to take taxpayer dollars, but nobody wants to go broke.
So what does all this mean? The United States, once the breadbasket of the world, is watching its dominance slip away. Farmers working harder than ever, producing bumper crops, but they can't sell them at a profit. Instead, they're begging for bailouts, hoping for miracles. This crisis wasn't inevitable, it was a choice. Trade wars launched in the name of toughness have backfired. Tariffs meant to punish rivals have punished our own farmers. And empty promises of big purchases from China remain just that, empty. The cost isn't measured in dollars or bushels, it's measured in lost farms, broken communities, and a generation of farmers questioning whether there is a future in agriculture at all. If America wants to remain a global leader, it cannot afford to play politics with livelihoods, because when the export markets crumble, it's not just the farmers who pay, it's all of us. Thank you for joining me on the Watchdog Report. I'm John Rivers, and bye for now.